born just like that, or they just had a car accident or some type of the accident, and that's how they lost their limbs. Okay, so it's really important that you know the athletes. Okay, you need to talk to them. Okay, you need to talk to their parents. Okay, what they having the what's going on. Okay, because if you do not know how they get situations, you never understand how what's their mentalities. Okay, their psychological stuff. Okay, I had a lot of unique athletes because I worked with the national teams. That meaning is that we had a lot of different age groups. Could be high school, could be college kids, or maybe just a little older or way older. Okay, some of them had a PTSD. Okay, so like you guys probably watch the movies or some read a book and stuff, so you kind of know. But PTSDs in the real person is much worse than what you guys think. Okay, so like even if there's some small things that I say or some story we kind of talk about it. Okay, sometimes they think like really hard. Okay, so you need to know about the what's their background and then what kind of appropriate to say. Okay, you need to be really watch out. And then a phantom pain. Do you guys know the phantom pain? Okay, what are those?
It's pain on a limb that's not there anymore.
Right, that's right. So they lost a limb, okay, and then they have a phantom pain that thinks the brain thinks that there is limb. It's not, but there is. So that creates bad cycle in the nervous system and then creating a bad pain. Okay, those pain is more than what you guys can think. Okay, how many of you guys heard clinicians ask you about, all right, what's your pain scales about the one, 0 is nothing, pain is worse. Okay, what's your pain right now? And then you guys usually say, oh, it's 8. It's gonna be end of the world type of the pain, right? Even if you just had a scratch. Okay, what's the movie? The two police officers becoming a high school kid. Yeah, and then do you remember that he, got a scratch on the elbow and then I busted my elbow, Okay, it's nothing. Okay. My point is that they already know 10 out of 10 of pain. Okay, could be cancer, could be car accident, could be a missiles. Okay, they already know what's the 10 out of 10 pains. Whenever they, he or she came talk to me about, man, cuz, my shoulder hurts. Okay. It's really worse because they already know how to tolerate pain, so they don't come talk to me until it's bad. Okay, so took me so long time to educate them to say, all right, come talk to me before you start crying, because if you crying, that means 12 out of 10 already. Okay, so you definitely need to know that what they're facing. Okay. And then next one is a local body swelling. Okay, if they lose some body part, those body parts much easier to swell up. So whenever we travel around the world, went to the Russia, Brazil, Canada, for the international stuff, we need to take a flight. Okay, they're always complaining of the local body swellings. Okay, how many of you guys travel around the States or something using the airplane? How many of you guys experienced, took off your shoes in the airplane and tried to, back on and you can't? Not really. Okay. Those are usually kind of become a lack of movement and a dehydrations. Okay. Those athletes experience those type of conditions much severe. So we need to know that all right, you don't have a limbs on the legs, arms, and then we need to find out the best way to protect those areas. And then, of course, medications, what type of medication they're using, physical impairment, sports they are participating. So as a coach or teachers, you definitely need to know the background, and then we need to communicate with them really nicely, okay? Because if you do not show support, then you're losing faith into the, playing sports or stuff. Okay, the next slide I will talk about how our support is important for those athletes to stay active and then to have a recovery. Okay, but before I'm going that, I want to show you one of the commercial. this is a commercial made by the London Olympic, which is the two Olympics before. This is a kind of actually really good commercials talking about they are still athletes. Okay, so even if they have impairments, no arms, no legs and stuff, but they are still athletes. Okay, and what their mentality is nothing different comparing to the other athletes and stuff. So if you see any kids in the future, or any of the future, more maybe growth, I'm not sure which coaches you guys looking for in high schools or in college settings or older. Okay, they are still human. They are athletes, and then they're super awesome guys. Okay, on girls. So I don't want you to treat them differently at all. Okay, they know that they have specific goals, and then they have a specific achievement they want to overcome. So I want you guys to know that they are still same athletes. Here's some different prosthetics. So we talk about the above knee amputation or below knee. Okay, above knee we call the AKs. Okay, below knee the BKs. This athlete, James, is the BK athlete. So like he does not have a leg below the knee right here. Okay, so he has a much functionality because his knees totally work. So like whenever he walks, okay, or wear the prosthetic, they just wear the socks and then they wear the prosthetic, and then they just walk normally. Okay, right now we have a good technologies going on, so like carbon fibers, so like those are have more flexible but strong. So like whenever they run, okay, they have a much have the huge curvatures, and then creating a lot of a ground reaction force to run. So like a lot of biomechanics going on. So he can run, he can jump, he can play basketball, he can do pretty much whatever he wants to. But needs to be careful. Sometimes this prosthetic is going to be slipped off while he's jumping and stuff. So we need to be very careful what's going on here. But what he wears is he is a above knee amputations. He's I think he lost a limb in the military, I believe. Or some sort of the line, but he's a military person. He's such an amazing guy. He's much older than those two guys you see what they are in the team right now. But in this right here, okay, there is a microchip in it. So what they do is that they charge overnight. So they charge all the prosthetics overnight. But whenever he wears the prosthetic, and then he can stand up, and then he can walk like a normal person. If they wear the jeans, you never notice they are prosthetic or not. But what this microchip does, and whenever they walk, okay, whenever he brings the leg up, okay, they just prosthetic just bend the knee, right? Okay, that bend the knee, microchip detect and then help to extend, and then they can walk. Okay, so if some sudden movement is going on, that knee is locked up, so like it needs to be really careful. So like some cat or something just jumped in, his knee's gonna locked up, and then he's gonna start losing the balance as well too. But those microchips detect those motions, and then he can walk normally. So those are really good. You can see those type of prosthetic in the United States, Canada, some other countries, but most of the countries they don't have those. Why? Because it's expensive. It's really expensive. Okay. And then what he wears, Travis, he also, I'm not sure he's still in the team or not, but he's living in California. He actually made a foundations for those disabled persons. So what they do is they just, he tried to collect the money and then try to, get money for those, whoever needs the prosthetics. So whatever he wears is he's a wrestler, and then he also doing a marathon type of the activities as well too. He does not have a specific joint on those. So what he does, all the leg is just here, they extend it, but this is such a hard steel. So whenever he run, he can bend the knee on this side, but it's not this side. So he literally brings that leg like this to walk. Okay, so but they have a much stronger prosthetic compared to the bend the knee version of it. So those a lot of the triathlons or marathon runners in prosthetic, they use that type of stuff. So if prosthetic is different, their biomedical motions. Okay, so like their walking is going to be different. So for example, those two guys, they need to activate their hip muscles more than anything to walk because they cannot bend. So what's going to happen? They actually have an extension on the trunk and a twisting. Okay, so they walk like this because they need to bring the leg. Okay, prosthetic is not that light. Okay, they have pretty I don't know the actual weights on it. Depends on the size and it depends on the materials as well too. It's pretty heavy stuff. Okay, so they just walk. They bring the leg. Okay, like this. So what we need to do as a medical person is that we need to balance them out. So like we need to relax their muscles. We need to retrain specifically hip flexors to bring the leg straight like this. Okay? So because of this issues, and applying the sports every day, they complain in the hip issues, low back issues, shoulder issues. So like we need to always approach from those extremities first. Okay, this is the prosthetics for the arms. She does not have a arm from a form right here. Okay, one of the other athletes doesn't have an arm from the above the elbows. So what they do is this is all the prosthetic portion right here, and then this is the healthy side. So whenever they play the volleyball, so this is the prosthetic side, and then this is the healthy side. She actually tossed the ball like this. So there's a ball right here, and then toss it. And then toss to that side, toss to that side, or she even hit the ball. Okay? So that's how they control it. As a medical person, I always take my medical kit. Like, what's unique things you can see in my medical bag right here? The hand. Yeah. So I need to have a spare of their hand. What's gonna be happen? They need to they have a prosthetic arm here. They push it. Sometimes they snap the hand. Okay. I learned from my lesson, okay? A couple games away from the United States, one athlete broke their hand, okay? I think that was in Canada, okay? And then we didn't bring that spare because we didn't expect that the arm, hand is just snapped in half during the game. And what is that? And then on the floor there was a hand just like that. And then on the sideline we like, oh my God, what's going on? And then so we didn't have an arm, in my medical bag. So like what we did is we use a roll of tape, and then we just use like small rolls and put it inside of it, and then using the duct tape, and then duct tape fixes everything. Yeah, using the duct tape, and then creating the similar leverage because she needs that lever, that length to push hard, pushing the floor. Because if we don't have that leverage, she just, she cannot push it, so she cannot move. Okay, so it was unique. So since then, we always carry the extra hands in my medical bag, and then we actually, more than you think, those prosthetics are snapped in half. So, but anyway, all right. So livelihood improvement.